Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another chat session. I've got Christopher Schmitt,
Hello.
organizer of InControl and other online conferences. Want to talk to you today about some InControl stuff. I want to hear about who you have speaking and all that stuff. But
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, we have a 2-day conference coming up in mid to late February. It's February 20th to 21st. So it's Monday, Tuesday, and we have some great speakers. It's going to be
sunny Orlando, right?
It's in Orlando. Like we actually say, escape winter with our speakers in web design. So we love it a lot. So it's so our speakers are Dan Rubin is going to be our day one keynote, and then Leslie Jensen Inman is going to be our day two keynote. And Leslie spoke at Converge SE.
Yes.
Yeah, and she just did a bang up job, and so we actually asked her, like, that was just an awesome job that you just did. So she's gonna be there, and she's also like with InControl, we actually work with AIJ Orlando, the chapter, and so and Leslie is associated really well with AIJ in Chattanooga, where she is. So it's a really great way to like help AIJ members get more exposure with interactive.
Yes, because it's much needed.
Yes, it's what you needed, and actually that's kind of like the stimulus for InControl is, like, as an AIJ member who's into web design, there wasn't a lot of conferences geared towards interactive and web design, and so that's kind of like the genesis of InControl was I want to work with AIGA chapters to make a conference. So we actually started in AIJ Cincinnati, and we moved down to AIJ Orlando.
That's right. I forgot you originally started this in the cold north.
Yeah, it was actually June, I think, is when we did. So it was actually nice northern atmosphere. So yeah, it was pretty nice. And we did in Cincinnati because it's well, one, I was there, but also because conferences would go to Chicago or York or something like that, and they wouldn't really come to Cincinnati, where we need that. So we did that. But this year again, like, we have Dan Rubin, Leslie Jensen Inman for keynote, and what we do is for day one we start like our traditional path is we start with the core technologies that you need for front end web design, and also some back end. We start with HTML5, which is going to be Greg Ruiz, who's an Adobe evangelist, which is a great speaker. Then Stephanie Sullivan Ruiz is going to be talking about CSS3, also a great speaker. And then we have Dave McFarland, who is going to be talking about jQuery and doing stuff like that. And Dave McFarland is the author of JavaScript jQuery, The Missing Manual.
Like 12 different books or something. Yeah,
CSS, The Missing Manual, Dreamweaver, The Missing Manual. So if you need something written, he's probably written a manual about it.
You had Dave at InControl last year, right?
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal speaker. I mean,
we had Ethan Marcotte last year.
Right. And
I've never heard Ethan laugh so hard at someone else's presentation. So that's my if you make Ethan laugh, you're really good. Yeah. And then at the end of day one, we have Chris Coyer, just kind of like wrapping things up, seeing how things work in a general web browser way. So we kind of we start from HTML, CSS, kind of JavaScript, and then have Chris Coyer kind of wrap things up. And what happens is, aside from the keynote, which is probably about an hour, each session is about 90 minutes long. And so that's more like, not to scare people, like, oh my God, it's gonna be boring. But we actually, it's actually to have more time for Q&A.
Yeah.
With speakers and audience, and also not to rush the speakers. Because usually I have a slide deck. It's good. Like, sometimes speakers are like rushing the slides rather than focusing on the content, and we're like, we don't want that. We want you to sit down, take your time, learn. Have plenty of caffeine that we have there for free for people to use, whatever. But it's just a really great way to learn. And so the first day is sort of like, we gradually get you going to have a good solid foundation, and the second day is kind of like our potpourri day, if you will. We just we talk about like abstract ed strategies more than kind of like the technology side of things. And so again, we'll have Leslie be the day two keynote. And then we'll have Megan Fisher, who's Owltastic on the Twitters and the domain name. So really happy to have her join us.
Designer. What's she going to be talking about?
Actually, it's kind of a little bit open-ended on her part. She did mentioned some things about it, but what really like kind of like we really want her to bring and address is how she designs for the web.
Yeah.
Because she has a very unique style, if you will.
Yes.
And it's really hard to, like, I think, just bring that over into design, especially if you're just someone, you know, kind of intermediate to beginner designer, and you're trying to, like, either, you know, either from print or even if you've been on the web for a short amount of time, to actually translate that into the web. And so I'm not sure she's going to be exactly talking about that per se. Let me see what her, So basically she's talking about, like, so that's why we kind of, like, I'm just looking over her abstract to make sure that's got the right thing, because we had, like, a long discussion about, like, what she should talk about, but really that's kind of like what we looked at her style. It's like, well, this would be a really great style to talk about and how she does it, and actually, because with AIJ Orlando and AIJ, you know, it's a design professional organization, we really want to have her kind of speak to the heart of designers, and say, like, how do you you know, conquer this medium and not and have that's kind of like retain your own style, you know, no matter what you do. So that's why we brought her on board, and she said yes. Yay. And then we have Jeremy Hilton, who's a local person to Orlando. He works for Mind Comment, and he's a social media. I think, I'm not sure exactly. He's the vice president at Mind Comment, and he's in charge of, like, social media outreach and for that. So, and we've never really had someone talk about social media at InControl, because we're kind of like, you know, kind of skeptical of social media a little bit. But from I've been following him for a while, and I love his kind of DIY and return on investment type of approaches to social media. So, you know, the whole, like, really kind of talk about, like, techniques for making sure you kind of quantify your social media and make sure it's present. Because, I mean, social media is not going away anywhere. I mean, Facebook's not going away. Twitter is not going away. Google's making sure that Google Plus never goes away. So it's going to be part of there. So we want to, but yeah. So we wanted to make sure to address that. And so having Jeremy there is going to be pretty awesome.
That's cool.
Just to have that there. So, and then we'll have Josh Clark talk about mobile design.
That's really cool. I've been wanting to listen to him talk for a while.
Yeah, we had Josh talk. We did an iPad Summit, an online conference about 2 years ago, and Josh just wrote us out of the blue and said, like, "Hey, do you mind if I speak?" And he had just written a book, Tapworthy.
It's a great book. Yeah.
And so he sent it to us, and we're like, "This book is phenomenal. Yeah, yes, please speak for us." And so he did a knockout job in that we had him back last year for our mobile JavaScript Summit.
Awesome.
And so we asked him again to, like, come to InControl in Orlando, and so he's just, so, like, we're really happy and fortunate to have him there. And then the last speaker is Christina Halverson.
Great.
About content strategy, and if you've ever seen her speak, she's just an awesome presenter. She could just, you know, I've seen her speak twice, I think. And
she's really great.
Yeah, she knocks it out of the park. And so
she's like Ethan Marcotte is the responsive web design, as Christina Halverson is too. Content first. I mean, it's just the master at it, you know.
Right, exactly. And so it's a great amount of speakers, and so like we talked about, like, the 90-minute sessions, and so one of that is make sure all your questions are answered, and make sure you get enough time with the speakers, but also at the end of each day we have wrap-up panels.
Yeah.
And so those are 30-minute sessions where we get all the speakers who spoke that day that are available on, you know, for just a Q&A session. So if there's any questions you didn't get asked, or we talk about topics of the day, it's a really great way to have some not some one-on-one time, but more exposure with the speakers. And so
absolutely.
Yeah, and then we're working on an after party. So we actually have Julia Nunes, who's a YouTube and Kickstarter superstar, come in and do a private party.
Nice.
For us at the end of the event. So, and then, that's the conference proper. But then we're also doing, for the first time, a pre-conference workshop.
Right. I meant to ask you about that. How that was going to work out.
Yeah. So if you come in early, there's Stephanie Sullivan-Ruiz is going to be doing a CSS3 workshop. I think, and she's telling me Greg is also going to be there. So
yeah,
So it's going to be an all-day workshop starting at 10 o'clock, and lunch is provided. It's a separate ticket from the InControl proper, but if you're there early and you really want to like hone your CSS skills, I mean, Stephanie's one of the best.
I would agree.
Yeah, so
that's really cool.
Yeah. So it's going to be like just 3 days of just awesome talent, and one of the things that we do is we try to make sure like our swag, if you will, is also useful too. Yeah. So we've actually contacted O'Reilly, A Book Apart, Peach Pit, Easy Readers, which is Aaron Gustafson's new progressive book publisher, Rosenfield, Field Notes, and A Press, and so they've all given us books for attendees. So if you register, you come in early, you'll get like a free book.
Seriously, well, yeah. Last year I saw that everyone pretty much left with a book or two.
Yeah,
which is kind of awesome because you're not going to get that at most conferences.
No, I mean like we
all of them, but
yeah, we've tried to focus, make sure that our conference swag, if you will, is actually useful and beneficial. So you're not like throwing stuff away or you're not recycling it or something like that. So
it's pretty kicking.
So yeah.
Well, I can't wait to come down there because we're coming, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Well, we're looking forward to it because you guys came last year and it was just awesome time.
It's a lot of fun. It's a great conference. If any of you are out there are like trying to find one to really go and work at and leave with something that you are going, like that week when you go back to work, we'll be implementing something new, then this is the conference.
Right. Cool. Yeah. We try to focus hard on getting speakers who will address the current topics that are out there, but also will impart knowledge and make sure that you have actionable intelligence, basically just to work with something. So, and it's not everyone can do it, nope. and it's we're really happy that we have these speakers who, like as a speaker myself, it takes a lot of time to do it, and so we're really grateful that they're taking time out of their schedules to be with us for that day. So it's going to be a really great event. I look forward to it every year, and even though I'm be running around crazy, but it's just to see all these awesome people and to see people they're having a good time and making sure. So it's awesome. And
before we wrap up here, speaking of crazy, you're going to if you've listened to the whole video, you're going to give away a ticket to one of our readers. So thank you so much.
Oh, welcome.
Yeah, if you guys leave us a comment about why web conferences are awesome, or why Christopher's conferences are awesome, we'll put you in the drawing for a free ticket to InControl.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and then also we'll give you a discount code if you don't win for getting the price off.
Much appreciated. We will definitely put that out there.
Cool. Awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you, man, and thanks for catching me up.
No problem. Talk to you later.